Hey guys, it's your girl Victoria back to you with another review for Married at First Sight Season 15, Episode 9, called Are You Going to Gaslight Me? Everybody tripping in this episode. Everybody, all 10 of them. Everybody tripping in this episode. So we get to day 20 of marriage, right? Morgan and Ben, they're working out together. Stasha and Nate, they're making dinner together, I believe. She bought Nate a t-shirt, and we're gonna see that t-shirt later on in the episode. He seems okay with it. He's like, oh, okay, cool. Thanks for the new t-shirt. Miguel and Lindy, Miguel makes Lindy breakfast. Kristen and Mitch and Luna go on a walk together. Alexis and Justin do face masks together. Okay, they always have to start off with little scenes to show that they're actually living together and stuff for the TV show. So Morgan and Ben, they go to a mermaid school class thing, majigger, and I mean, strange, very strange. I put in my notes strange because I'm like, y'all be thinking of the randomest things to make money off of. So yes, we're gonna put on these little tight ass skirts that cover our feet also to make it look like we're mermaids, and we're just gonna pretend or learn how to swim in them. Y'all paid for this? Y'all could have done this at somebody's backyard who had got a pool in their backyard. Y'all paid for this? I mean, if people paying it, I mean, by all means, do what you got to do, whoever instructs it and all that stuff. But y'all just be coming up with the weirdest things and coming up with any and everything to make money. Like, I respect the hustle, but I'm not paying for it, okay? It better be free. But they seem to enjoy it. Ben said, seeing Morgan happy makes him happy. Get all the happiness you can out of this episode, Ben, because look like next episode she gonna eat you out alive. So I don't know what you done did. We gonna find out. And if it's true, because Morgan be exaggerating, Ben, we're gonna talk about it at the end of this episode. Okay, so Luna is going to town humping her bed. She horny. Okay, she might be in heat, so we get to see the whole thing. The producers made sure to show the whole scene from start to finish of her just going to pound town on her own bed. Because she just needed to let one out real quick. So once she's done, that's when the camera pans back to Kristen and Mitch. So we saw the whole thing. So it was doggy porn. We saw doggy porn for a good 20 seconds. I'm just letting you know. But Mitch talking about some new position at his job, and I guess that's when Kristen says she wants to focus on them and about babies and wanting to move forward with her career. So essentially that she could be her own boss, and she wants to be Flipper Flop, that show on HGTV. Tarek and Christina, I mean, her name Christina, I think. Yeah, they're not even together no more. But she wants to be like Flipper Flop. And, obviously once the kid, she said after she got a couple of kids, she wants to definitely be in that market of flipping houses. So Mitch thinks that's great, but obviously his body language shows something else. So he goes into explaining that he doesn't really like the idea because pretty much that's making San Diego just for the rich, and they come in, flip these houses and drive people out because they can't afford these houses, which is true. I mean, not even with the flipping houses, just housing in general is redonkulous. The housing market this past year alone is, like I said, is ridiculous. So I understand where Mitch is coming from. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, people buying them. It's one thing if people are flipping these houses and people are buying them. That's why we have this crisis. That's why it's never going to go back to the way it was. I wish it would go back to the way it was in 2020 when things were dirt cheap because of, all the things going on across America, U.S., and the world. Because America and U.S. is the same thing. Okay, but unfortunately, you got the people who got the funds that's going to be like, oh, $700,000 for a 1-story, 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom that's only like not even 1,200 square feet? I'm buying, I'm happy on it. Wow, there's already 3 offers. So now it's like at $725,000. That's a steal. Unfortunately, there are people who can afford that. For the average American, we can't afford that stuff. We can barely afford $300,000 houses on these streets. But because people from other states or wherever they come from or whatever their funds looking like, they can afford that, so they're gonna jump on it. So that's not, it's not just the people who are flipping houses, Mitch. It's the people who can afford those houses. So, like I said, I understand where he's coming from, but in a world like this, you need like 5 different jobs just to survive out in these streets. So if Krista wants to flip houses and she got the money and the license to do that, let her do what she need to do to survive in this damn place we call of a world. Okay, I was gonna say America, but I feel like other places are going through it too, especially over there in Europe and all that stuff. Okay, so he says what he has to say about it, and Kristen's just like, well, she needs another glass of wine. Yeah, Kristen drank another glass of wine and really think, do you see yourself with Mitch past 8 weeks? That's what you really need to be thinking to yourself. So pretty much everybody got a knock at the door wherever they was at. They got a little thing of alcohol and a card. So I guess the couples can talk about topics of love. So we get to Nate and Stasha. They're in the pool and they're talking about love and all that stuff. Nate is at a 4 out of 10. Stasha's not happy about that because she's an 8 out of 10. And Nate talking about he ain't been in love since high school. So what you're saying, that you ain't been in love? Because high school, that sounds like some puppy love type stuff. And I mean, listen, granted, some people do stay together after high school. It's not much. I know a few success stories. I know a few people from high school that were together since high school, together since college, and now getting married. It can happen. But you obviously not with her, Nate. So I don't know what type of love that was, if it was real love, so you say, but I didn't think I was gonna be that type of person, but that don't count. That don't count, Nate. So they go back and forth a little bit, and the logistics, the summary cliff notes of this whole scene, Stasha wants Nate to be in love with her, and because of the fact that he ain't there yet, and he only 4 out of 10, 40% in, so she says, it's a problem. And she lets him know, like, she's not really trying to rush him to be in love with her by decision day, but she kind of is, but she kind of ain't, but she kind of is. And he just looking at her like, I mean, I'm putting in the action. I'm not saying we're not gonna get there. I'm just saying that I'm not there right now. But Stasha don't like the fact that he's not there right now. Stasha, you need to relax, okay? This is day 20 of marriage. Granted, I understand you guys are married, Stasha, but at the same time, you just met this guy. Like, you acting like, okay, 20 days of marriage is like 20 months or 20 weeks. You should be in love with me by now. Everybody moves at their own pace, Stasha. You should know that. Don't you go to therapy? You trying to force this guy to literally say I love you. You being like annoyed like right now, but more than annoyed. Noy was just looking like, wow, like I love you and you don't love me back. You're more like okay, so like, why are you not here right now? Why are you only at 40%? I'm like at 80% right now. You should be with me at 80%, if not more. But at the same time, Nate, didn't you just say the other couple episodes ago, that you was falling in love with her too? So, both of y'all need to relax, okay? Nate, you effed up by saying that a couple weeks ago, so now she probably thinking, okay, so if you was feeling like that like 2 weeks ago, you should be definitely in love with me by now. So both y'all effed up, okay? We're gonna talk more about them later, so I'm not gonna focus too much energy in this scene right here. We'll talk more about them later on. We get to Kristen and Mitch. They talk about love over dinner, and they both agreed that life married is better than life single. And my question to you two, both of y'all, is, are you sure about that? Because if you getting beat up every day, and maybe not even physically, but verbally, Is that better than being single? If your life married is living hell, is that better than being single? Life single? It depends. It all depends on the circumstances. I wouldn't say being married is better than being single. It just depends on how your married life is. Because being married can be hell versus being single could be great. And it could be vice versa. Being single could be hell and being married could be great. It just depends on the circumstances, depends on the person, the relationship, the life, and all that stuff. I wouldn't say that as factual. I would just say that as situational. So Kristen wants to live her life the way she wants. Mitch said in moderation, because I guess, she can afford nice things. So she wants to experience and live nice things. Sorry, I'm scratching my back if you're wondering what that noise is. And Kristen doesn't like the sound of that. Listen, Kristen, I hope you're starting to realize that you was just in Lost the first couple of weeks. Now you're really seeing Mitch for who he truly is, which we've all seen it from the jump, but you were just disguised in lust, lost in lust, because you wanted to believe that these experts really found you your match, when you should know by you being on the 15th season of this damn show that it's probably unlikely that you're with your match. And it's either you go and deal with it and move forward, like some people have done who are still together to this day, or just be like, nah, this ain't for me, I'm done. Like majority of the people have done on this show. So that's up to you to figure out what you want to do post 8 weeks. We get to Alexis and Justin. They're sitting on a couch. Alexis is smoking hookah, and they talk about love. Newton playing, rubbing himself up on the carpet, because he's free, and, Maya's still not back from doggy jail. And I guess here we go again. You just keep opening a new hole for you, for Alexis to low key, high key, make fun of you for. So he ain't lose his virginity till he was 20. Alexis calls him a late bloomer. I'm like, is that really a late? First off, like, why are we saying, oh, you're a late bloomer because you lost your virginity at 20? What? How old were you when you lost your virginity, Alexis? Because if he's a late bloomer, so clearly you lost it in your teenage years. Okay, he lost it at 20. So what? I'm be like, oh, okay, cool. You lost it at 20. Like, the only way, like, honestly, I'll be like, dang, you lost it that, like, if you're a 40-year-old virgin, like, you're 40, you ain't never did nothing, like, kudos to you if you didn't, but it's like, dang, that's rare to find. 20, girl, bye, people, because he said he was trying to wait till he was married, but obviously that didn't happen. So, okay, you lost it at 20, Alexis, you make it more than it needs to be. So anyway, they keep talking about love, and he asks if she can tell him that she loves him or how she loves him. And she says she can't do that because she feels uncomfortable, because she's still feeling alone from when they was at the candy store and they had their little disagreement, and she wants the security back of how she felt on the honeymoon. Okay, you want to see a lot of these people on this damn show, they waiting for the other person to do for them to make them feel better. But you also realize you're the one who put up the walls. You're the one that's creating more of that awkwardness and riffraff, because you're gonna hold on to one little mistake that the person did and just continue to drag it for the rest of the time, rest of life. That's on you too, because they can do all they can to do to show you they're sorry and all that stuff. But that's up to you to let it go and move forward. I don't understand how people still to this day are so keen on the littlest mistakes, knowing that people are not perfect, knowing that they're not perfect themselves. I really do not understand why people come on this damn show thinking they're going to get someone perfect, knowing damn well for being on 15 seasons of this show, ain't nobody perfect. People are far from perfect. If anything, you're going to be matched with your opposite. So y'all now got to work on compromising each other if you want to move forward after 8 weeks, which for all these damn couples, I hope they don't, but we going to see what happens. And I just don't understand. Please help me understand. Help me. understand why they can't understand that. Unless the producer's telling them to act this way. I just don't understand. But Justin said he gonna agree to work on it. Of course you are, Justin. Of course you're gonna work on making sure Alexis don't leave. When you really need to be thinking, is Alexis right for me? Cause she damn sure don't think you right for her. But we move on to Stasha and Nate. They talk in the kitchen and they're making rice and chicken, I believe. So Stasha talks to him about them and their feelings and moving forward with their feelings. She keeps pushing the issue of Nate loving her. And of course, Nate's getting annoyed. I'm getting annoyed. Everybody on Twitter getting annoyed. America's getting annoyed. People from across the whole world globe is getting annoyed. We all annoyed at this point. Because Stasha, you're pushing the issues that don't need to be pushed. I don't understand also how y'all don't just let things flow. You guys gotta talk about everything. Stasha keep trying to talk about love and the issue. Why can't we just work on just being more in chemistry and like with each other so we could get to the point where we're in love with each other and just letting the feelings flow naturally and come together naturally instead of trying to force the thing of just him saying I love you. Would you rather him say I love you just for you to shut up? Or would you rather him say I love you when he really feels it so it could be more of a special romantic moment? Like, Stasha, do you not realize what you're doing? This is why I agree with the person on Twitter who said, are we sure that Stasha goes to therapy? And I'm like, if she do go to therapy, she got the wrong therapist, because did she not have this conversation with them before coming on this damn show? Is she not seeing them during this damn show? Like, I don't understand. So, of course, he gets in his feelings and saying Stasha's trying to manipulate him. And Stasha says she just wants Nate to love her, but she wants him to mean it also when he says it. Okay, Stasha, well, you got to give him time. Okay? I know a lot of people don't be trusting Nate out in these streets, but I think anybody with a logical brain and ration of idea will understand, okay, this is only 20 days in. Yes, we're technically legally married and binding contracts, as Pastor Cal says. But at the same time, that doesn't mean the feelings are going to be at marriage level just because we got married at first sight. No, we still got to work towards that. So I don't understand how Stasha feels like he should be where she's at. She's not even 100% there yet. She hasn't told him she loves him. So why is she expecting him to say this thing to her? Stasha, get out of here. So she just pretty much saying if he don't say I love you by decision day, it will affect her decision on decision day. So when are you going to say to him? That's what I want to know, Stasha. When are you going to say to him? I still like you, though. But when are you going to say to him? We move on to Miguel. And he has beer with his friend Steve. And they talk about the housewarming party. And I guess Steve and the girl in the grape costume wasn't really feeling the way Lindy was expressive about not being on Miguel's health insurance. And pretty much Steve was just telling Miguel to be cautious. He didn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. So Miguel was like, he does think that more or less rather, ignoring the red flags or magenta flags, as he says. So Steve just tells him to be cautious. Once again, he doesn't say that word for word. I'm just paraphrasing. So we move on to Kristen and Miguel. They go karaoke. Not Miguel. Kristen and Mitch. They go karaoke. They have fun in the beginning. Mitch raps. I definitely had to put that on Snapchat because I was just like, man, Mitch, what we doing? Kristen thinks he does a good job and he was rapping on beat. And I'm like, just because you rap on beat doesn't mean you rapped good. I mean, for amateur, I guess. For Mitch's sake, I guess he did good. But I'm just like, what is this? And of course, Kristen gonna be the cheerleader and just like, oh yeah, go ahead, babe, go ahead. I'm just like, look at y'all fools. Y'all look like fools, but y'all like karaoke, y'all having a good time. That's cool. And I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be a nice little scene. No, when they sit down and eat to talk, here go Mitch bringing up the whole flip flop issue with Kristen and wanting to be a flip flopper, a flipper. So they go back and forth a little bit, and Mitch is saying that it triggers him. He calls flippers predators. Once again, like I said, I understand where he's coming from, but at the same time, people be buying it. So if people want to make money from the people who got the money like that to buy it, because if they're not gonna buy it from Kristen, they're gonna buy it from somebody else. So Kristen just trying to get in on the cash and just make more income to better her life. So Mitch talk about flippers are illegal, which they're not. So Kristen gets offended. Like I said, they go back and forth a little bit. And Kristen tries to express that she understands both sides. But Mitch said he doesn't think it doesn't seem authentic that she does. So that's when Kristen gets pissed and asked if he's trying to gaslight her, hence the title of this damn episode. And Mitch said no, but he did feel like it's, like not authentic of how she feels. So Kristen, obviously she's upset. So she's like, don't say stuff about me unless if it's facts. So then it goes to the next scene of Morgan and Ben. They talk about love over dinner. And Morgan thinks love is her ex who is drunk and professes love by saying, he drunk. So, when you drunk, you say dumb stuff sometimes. I will fight any nigga, anybody for you. I'm gonna fight anybody. I'll fight your mama. I'm gonna fight your sister. Your friend that you chipped tooth. The friend that you chipped her tooth. That she still didn't send you an invoice for. I'm gonna fight your daddy. I'm gonna fight any guy that even looks your way, girl. Cause I love you, girl. So she believed that. She's like, that's love. And here go Ben. Oh yeah, that's love. So pretty much Morgan believes just because he said that during his drunken hours that, that was a true definition and action of love for her. Yeah. Okay. I'm still trying to understand why you're on the show, Morgan, but she says he was the right guy at the wrong time. Well, if you're ready now, Morgan, you should go back to him because it seems like anybody that does anything wrong, you can't even be with. Even though people accept you, even though you do them wrong, like chip their tooth, and they still don't ask you for no money to get it fixed. So we get to Ben, and he's never really been in love. And then he proceeds to apologize to Morgan yet again for imposing his insecurities on her and projecting them on her because he too has daddy issues. And, he gets emotional while he apologizes again to Morgan. And Morgan appreciates that. And my question is to you, Ben, are you feeling so apologetic because deep down is a guilty conscience because you still talking to Justin about Morgan? That we're going to find out what you talking to him about, that I guess you talking about her, that Justin goes to tell Alexis, that Alexis felt compelled to go tell Morgan. We're going to find out next week, but just from that sneak peek, I'm just like, y'all being so dramatic. Morgan, you really want to be an actress on a Lifetime movie because bravo, you nailed the part, Morgan, you nailed it. But we move on to Stasha and Nate. They go to a cooking class together to make salmon and veggies and stuff. I don't know. I guess just to do an activity together. But they sit down to eat, and Stasha says she's trying to move past their argument and not put it up a wall. And I'm like, Stasha, what are we putting up walls for? Just because the guy told you he's not in love with you yet and he's the 4 out of 10. But we're going to drag it for the whole episode. So Stasha brings up their disagreement and feels like Nate was trying to attack her character. So, of course, Nate is pleading his side and how he feels about it. But Stasha is getting upset again because he's still on the fact that he thinks that she's manipulating the situation of him loving her. And he asks her, are you afraid that I will never love you? So she says, yes. So he's like, why don't you just say that? It doesn't matter if that. Why did she just say that? Why is she thinking that regardless, knowing she married a damn stranger and it's going to take time before someone could catch feelings? All right, so she gets upset again a little bit after that, and Nate says that he really likes her and tells her to have more faith, and that upsets her even more. She doesn't like that. She's like, I know to have faith. I got it tattooed on my arm. Well, you know what, Stasha, you need to read it more, because at this point you just being annoying, like a little prick, because is it so imperative for him to love you on day 25? Stasha, get a grip, relax, calm down. In due time, it will come. Stop trying to force love. Because if you're going to force love, they ain't going to love you. They just going to resent you at the end of the day. Get over it. Calm down. Ask him to love you when you love him, because you don't even love him yet. Because you never said it. We move on to Kristen and Mitch. They do a beach cleanup. Mitch loves it and is appreciative of Kristen for that. So then they sit down and talk about karaoke night. And Kristen just wants Mitch to see her value. And Kristen, you should have known he didn't see your value from the moment he told you he didn't like or wasn't attracted to you from the honeymoon. So I don't know what value you were hoping that he sees in you. He says he does value and appreciate her, but he probably just saying that just to have you stop talking. I mean, I guess they hash it out. It's pretty much, to me, I felt like it was just being brushed under the rug at this point. But Kristen, you should see the value in yourself. You shouldn't have to ask him to see the value in you, because if you have to ask him to see the value in you, then he probably doesn't see the value in you. You should know he sees the value in you. So if you have to ask him to see the value in you, then you probably don't even see the value in yourself. And that's a problem. You need to see yourself as the prize. And if Mitch ain't with it, then you need to get on get. Moving on to Miguel and Lindy. We don't really see them this episode. And I'm glad for that. They sit down and talk on the couch. And I guess Miguel and Lindy's cats are not in cahoots. They're at odds a little bit and afraid of each other. But they sit down and talk about love. And Miguel admits that he usually runs away at the first sign of crazy behavior. So Lindy looks a little pressed. It goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And Miguel says he doesn't want to be taken for granted again, because in the past, that's all it's ever been. And Lindy hopes that Miguel supports her when she gets emotional at times, and hopes that he doesn't keep score. So let me get this straight, Lindy. You just don't want to be critiqued for anything, and anything that you do wrong, you just want us to throw it into the wind, dust it under the rug, and just let it be. Just let you do whatever you want to do. Go to Mexico, go to Canada, and not, critique you or look at you or make correlations of you just blowing your money, knowing you don't work a full-time job, and that's your per diem, and that you'd rather blow money on going to Las Vegas instead of using the money to get yourself some damn insurance, so you don't have to, ride off of Miguel's back to be on his insurance, and, just be your own person because your last name is so important to you, because it's your identity. Miguel is her identity. So you just want to just be la-di-da-di-da, do whatever you want to do and not get dragged through the mud or you just don't want to be criticized or nothing. Okay, you just want to be able to live your life the way you want. Well, you know what, Lindy, then you shouldn't have got married at first sight. Not saying someone's supposed to control you, but at the end of the day, if you coming together in union with somebody and wanting to be on joint accounts with somebody, then why would you feel some type of way if they were to look at you some type of way like, why did you just spend $5,000 on EF Go Ahead tours? Lindy, you don't want no scoreboards, and you don't want someone holding you accountable for your irrational actions sometimes and your crazy emotional outbursts. And Miguel's just pretty much like, well, I'm not keeping a score, but I mean, I didn't like the way you acted before. And Lindy just wants him to just not even worry about, just don't even, just get rid of that in your mind, Miguel. Because that's just me being passionate. She didn't say that at all. But I'm just paraphrasing at her thinking, because she's just like, we're not keeping scoreboards. And you have to sometimes, I'm scratching because I'm getting a little frustrated, because her motto is, if you if you can't accept me, I even wrote this down. If you don't love me and can accept me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best. That is the motto that Lindy is portraying here in this scene, in my personal opinion. I feel like that's what she's portraying in all her scenes. She goes back and forth. She wants to act like, okay, she understands where he's coming from, but then the next scene be like, well, you can't do this, if I decide to do this. You can't react like this if I do this. Then Lindy, you don't need to be in a marriage, because everybody's gonna have their opinions. And clearly, Miguel has shown you that you act a little crazy. He not feeling the way you be acting sometimes. So I don't know how this is gonna work moving forward. But Lindy, I ain't with your little motto. You didn't say that's your motto, but from your actions, that's what I feel like your motto is. And I'm not feeling that either myself, personally. So Lindy just wants to see Miguel's scoreboard of her. And if you really wanted to know your scoreboard, you wouldn't even like it, because you would feel some type of way with probably the things he thought about you since day one of you talking so damn much, Lindy. But we're gonna move on to day 24 of marriage. So Justin and Alexis, they have a picnic and talk, and Alexis admits that if they weren't married, that she wouldn't have stuck around. And now she's putting more effort in because they are married. So Justin doesn't understand or agree with that style, because he's a person that would have always put it in from jump, whether they were married or not. So Alexis, I guess, not feel some type of way about Justin feeling that way, but she just wants him to understand and empathize. Well, not empathize with her, but understand that's her truth. Justin looking like, I don't know, but I'm just gonna go with it for you. So we get to Ben. He sets up a dinner for Morgan, because Morgan said when she comes home from work, she can't do nothing for nobody. She can't support nobody, nothing. And you just need to figure out your dinner for yourself, because she gonna be too tired to be worrying about what to cook you and all that stuff. So Ben took on that role, and he set up a Korean barbecue for Morgan. So she gets home and appreciates the dinner setup. But as they're cooking and talking, I guess the smoke detectors go off, so they open up all the windows to let natural air in, so the smoke detectors can stop beeping. And I'm pretty sure Ben, that's what he wanted in the first place, because he don't like to use no damn AC. So he's in his element now. And I guess he wants to talk more about his feelings. And Morgan kind of seems like she didn't really care too much, but she's going to let him talk and say what he needs to say. So they pretty much trauma bond on their daddy issues. And Morgan just tells Ben, like, you need to just learn to love yourself and just be your own person. So I guess Ben is not completely there yet. And he said he's working on that. And Morgan said that she'll help him. She'll help him get there. And that he'll get there, and that she'll be there to help him get to that point. So I appreciated that support from Morgan, but he ain't going to get that support long enough to love himself, because she going to be pissed off at him by the end of the episode. So we get to day 25 of marriage. So, all the girls probably got TikToks and done seen that one viral TikTok or wherever it was on. I'm pretty sure it was TikTok, but, they be putting on YouTube and stuff. That one video where I guess it was like 5 couples that went out to eat, and the guys all had the same shirts on, and they didn't realize it until they all one by one showed up to the restaurant. So that's exactly what they tried to do. They all got their men the same shirt and their size. And all the guys were like, okay, cool. They love their shirts and was wearing their shirts. And then we get to Mitch. He sees a shirt he doesn't like. He says he doesn't want to wear it. So Kristen was just trying to convince him to wear it. He's like, nah, it's not me. I don't want to wear it. So she's just like, can you come in the bathroom with me real quick? You guys are mic'd up. You didn't think we were going to hear what you guys were saying? You went in the bathroom, but you're still mic'd up. So we heard everything you said word for word. But, they just try to be dramatic for the TV show. So she tells them, like, okay, look, we got these shirts for all the guys to wear as a little jokey joke. So if you can wear it. And, Mitch throws a fit saying he don't want to wear it because it's not him with the buttons and all that stuff. And it goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial, the couples meet up and have a good laugh. Even Mitch wore the shirt, but I guess him and Kristen compromised that he's gonna wear it just for the gag effect, so everybody could be like, "Oh gosh, we got the same shirt on." But he brought in a backup shirt so he could change immediately after. So the girls are like, "Why'd you change your shirt?" He gives some weird explanation that he doesn't want to be controlled of what he wears and stuff. And Kristen's pissed off that he don't want to keep the shirt on. And at this point, I'm just like, oh, who cares? Kristen, you should know how your man is by now. Like, we only seen him for 7 episodes. 7 or 8. This is episode 7. It's I don't want to scroll all the way up to look at my notes to see what episode this is. But we only like 7 weeks in. And not even like a full week. Like, we watch y'all once a week. So we already see how Mitch is from a couple hours once a week. And you've been living with this man for 25 days. And you don't like, at this point, don't even argue with him. It's not worth the effort. It's not worth the energy, Kristen. At least he wore the shirt. So he wants to change it to another shirt. Just let him be at this point. Because at this point, I don't even want to hear what weird explanation he has for anything. So we have Dr. Pia. She shows up to do a group therapy with the couples. So obviously Alexis and Justin are first. And Justin calls himself bulletproof. Alexis disagrees. Yeah, Alexis, she disagrees. I disagree. Because I'm like, oh, you're so bulletproof, but you've been crying on every single episode. Almost every single after party. You probably gonna cry on decision day. You probably gonna cry in the reunion. You probably gonna cry in the little where are they now special crap. You probably been crying when you've been watching this show, live. Justin, please. You're not bulletproof. Because everything, you not bulletproof, bro. You as thin as a paper. Any little thing could penetrate you. So he gets pissed off. He cusses up a little bit because Alexis disagrees. Then it goes to commercial for dramatic effect. Comes back from commercial for dramatic effect. And Alexis is all about, for them to understand each other. She says some words about for her to understand him, to understand her, so they can understand each other, whatever. She said something to that effect. So everybody's like, dang, that's deep. Dang, she said that. She did that. She said that. Miguel, Lindy, everybody said, yeah, that's some truth right there. She's speaking some facts right there. Alexis, listen, I'm not saying what you said was false, but now you want to act like, okay, you just an expert and you know how to work through things, but then when it's just you and him together, I feel like you just kind of like not even bothered with it. But like when you with everybody else, you want to act like you want to move forward and try for the relationship, but at the picnic it seemed kind of like, well, you're just gonna have to understand that's the way I am and that's what it's gonna be. So Dr. Pia tells them that they need to keep having a conversation until they both feel understood. So they agree to do that. We move on to Kristen and Mitch and their issue with this whole t-shirt crap situation. And Mitch just doesn't want to feel like he ever lose himself in the relationship. So Dr. Pia asks Kristen, does she feel like she's losing herself? So Kristen feels like she's losing herself a little bit. And Dr. Pia just suggests that they need to find a balance between the two. Yeah, I feel like Kristen's open to having that balance, but Mitch is not. He just wants to do his things his way or the highway. I mean, they did kind of compromise because he did wear the shirt for like 2 seconds. But, I mean, you seen she already had to buy them damn ugly behind aluminum cups for the jello shots of the little housewarming party. That was weird as hell in itself, but yeah, whatever. We move on to Morgan and Ben. They're getting better, and Morgan just wants more words of affirmation because Dr. Pia asks what do they need from each other to move forward. So Morgan wants more words of affirmation, but in a romantic way as opposed to a bro way. Because Ben has still not went on YouTube to find out how to be more romantically affectionate with his wife. So he still needs to work on that. and they move on. But I wish we would have heard what Ben needed from Morgan in order to move forward with her. So I mean, I don't know if they ever did film that, and they just producer just decided not to put it on the episode. But whatever. We move on to Lindy and Miguel, and Lindy feels like she's holding back her feelings of outburst because she respects Miguel. Does Miguel respect you? So you're gonna respect someone that probably don't even respect you. Miguel said he doesn't like that. He don't like when she be outbursting and stuff, but I mean, I don't either, Miguel, but if that's who she is, you need to know so you can decide whether or not you can deal with that for the rest of your life or if you need to move on and find somebody else, Miguel. And same thing for you, Lindy. You showing him all the respect and trying to contain your outburst, but you got to show yourself too, because we need to know who you are before we be like, yeah, I want to go past these 8 weeks. And Miguel, you need to find out. So you need to know if you want to put her on your insurance or not, because I don't know if I want to put any crazy person on my insurance. Just real talk. That's just me being honest. I don't know if I want to do all that. So make sure you know that before you put on the insurance, Miguel. Please. And then lastly, we get to Stasha and Nate. Stasha says she's feeling lonely, vulnerable, and sad because Nate doesn't match her interest in him. That, his interest for her don't match her interest in him. So Nate explained his side yet again, and he's just pretty much, that if she don't get with the program and understand that he's trying and showing forth effort, that he's going to give up. So she cries about it, but at the same time, she's just not going to wait forever for him to catch up. Once again, Stasha, this is 25 days that you've known him. It's going to take some time for that to build up. Let the time take. Stop talking about it and just be about it. Stop having these dumbass conversations and just let the relationship flow so that way the love can get to where you want it to be. My goodness, Stasha. You're 37. You in therapy, but you acting like as if you're 19. I don't understand. Anyway, he goes to commercial, comes back from commercial, and Stasha and Nate, they talk post-exercise, and Nate has heard that Stasha doesn't recognize his action and efforts in the marriage. Stasha says she does, but Nate's just like, nah, he doesn't want to have to keep proving himself anymore because it doesn't seem like she believes in him. And the one thing he always said he wanted was a girl to believe in him. You sounding like Steve right now, Nate, but I'm going to let you keep going on your little monologue. So Stasha says she does think and sees that Nate is putting forth the effort, but the therapy and stuff that he's talking about that he's going to do, that's, it's still in the future. That's not in the right now. And she wants something right in the right now, like communication and vulnerability. And Nate's like, well, you're not being patient enough to let that grow. And she says she wants emotion too right now. So, he's like over it. And he's like, well, you're getting emotion from me now. Are you happy? And she's like, no, because she feels like she's being attacked. And in the confessional, she's talking about she thinks he's overreacting and, about the whole thing. And I'm like, no, Stasha, you're overreacting because you want this man to tell you he loves you on day 20. When you haven't even told him you loved him. You told him you had an 8 out of 10. So you're not even a 10 out of 10. But you're trying to literally practically force this man to tell you he's 10 out of 10. When you're not even all the way there yet. Like, you're waiting for him to say he's 10 out of 10 before you go from an 8 to a 10 out of 10. Get the hell out of here. So Nate's over. He gets up and leaves. Stasha just left there to sit there to ponder on her thoughts. And then we end off with Morgan. She's pissed. Okay, so they talking, and then she just bust out with Alexis told her everything. Ben looking at her like, what are you talking about? She's like, she told me everything, and she just left. So Ben's just like, Morgan, come back. Wait, what happened? So she done left, and pretty much she just said he gonna have to hear an earful to the next morning. And Alexis Dunn came back and told Morgan all that Ben has been doing because he's still been talking to Justin. and going behind her back talking about her. So we're gonna have to wait till next week to find out what the hell that's about. And it seems like next week everybody gonna be getting into it, and we're just gonna have to wait and see, because that's the end of this episode. And I'm gonna be ready for next episode. Hopefully I'm more awake for next episode, because this episode was kind of like a drag. Oh, I scroll back up, guys. It's episode 9. Still, it's been 9 episodes for us, Kristen, and it's been way more hours than we have watched of y'all for you to realize how your man is. But that's beside the point. That's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe, and please also comment on specifically Morgan and Ben and what you think gonna happen next episode. And do you think that's the last time we're gonna see Morgan and Ben until decision day or reunion? Which I hope, because Morgan is exhausting. Any little thing you do, you're cut off. But she could chip your tooth and still want to be your friend. Makes so much sense. But we're gonna have to wait to discuss and stuff, all that stuff next week. So without further ado, have a good night, and I'll see you next week. Bye.